I want to thank, I'm Sheriff Dallas Baldwin, Franklin County, and I want to thank everybody for coming over today for this news brief. As we know, it's St. Patrick's Day. It's a very popular holiday weekend for everybody to celebrate, and we want to make sure that everyone knows that this weekend, from the Sheriff's Office and the DUI Task Force you see behind me, we have a zero tolerance for impaired driving. Over St. Patrick's Day weekends from 2023 to 2025, there were 69 alcohol-related traffic crashes within Franklin County. Statewide data from the Ohio State Highway Patrol shows that 14 deadly crashes occurred on St. Patrick's Day from 2020 through 2024. Drunk driving has a very, very deadly, life-altering consequence, but it's also 100% preventable, and that's what's important. If you're going out to celebrate, you do not need to get behind the wheel if you've had anything to drink. A little Google search before I came in, I wanted to find out what was the average BAC on fatal alcohol-related accidents, and it's actually 0.15. 0.15, you might think, takes a lot of alcohol. It really doesn't. You go out for an evening, if you just have a couple of drinks throughout the evening, each hour, you're probably going to test about a 0.15. That depends on a lot of factors, but it's important to let you know you may be that person that thinks it doesn't really affect you, but it does. And we don't want to see you end up in a serious accident, harm yourself, your family, or somebody else. So one important thing to keep in mind, you can use a Lyft code, and that information is provided here. A discounted ride share, call an Uber, call a taxi, have a sober friend come with you, and just be the driver. Like I said, it's 100% preventable. Just do not get behind the wheel this weekend or anytime if you're going to drive. If you're going to drink, just don't get behind the wheel and drive. Have a plan before. I want to say thank you to all the agencies you see represented here. Almost every agency within Franklin County and the State Highway Patrol make up the Franklin County DUI Task Force. We couldn't do any enforcement really countywide without them. Again, we want to remind drivers zero tolerance policy this weekend. I want to thank the Central Ohio Safe Ride, Fato's Pub and Kitchen, the City of Dublin, Burns Irish Pub, and the O on Lane for all their commitment, safety, and helping to pay for these Lyft codes. Again, enjoy this weekend, have a lot of fun. We're not trying to stop your fun, but just remember safety, don't get behind the wheel and drive. And I'd like to introduce my Chief Deputy, Jim Gilbert.
Thank you, Sheriff. This is a great partnership between these private organizations and these businesses, as well as with the DUI Task Force. So starting this evening, we're going to have a checkpoint here in Franklin County in the city of Upper Arlington. That information has been released today. So the task force will be up and running this evening with that DUI checkpoint in Upper Arlington. And then throughout the weekend, all of the agencies have extra grant hours that have been given to them for DUI saturation patrols. What that means is that the men and women of law enforcement in Franklin County will be out seeking to remove impaired drivers from our roadways. As the sheriff stated, this is a very serious matter in which we see, and we unfortunately continue to see, bad choices being made by individuals. And it's every hour of the day. We're seeing them on first shift, impaired drivers that we're moving from the roadways, second shift, and obviously on third shift. So on St. Patrick's Day itself, the Sheriff's Office, all three shifts will be taking part in a zero tolerance traffic enforcement blitz countywide related to OVI enforcement, reckless driving, careless driving, traffic enforcement throughout the county, along with the Ohio State Highway Patrol and our suburban partners as well. So with that, I'd like to introduce the next speaker, who's going to be Anna Piper with Franklin County Safe Communities and Columbus Public Health. Anna?
Well, good morning, and thank you, Chief Gilbert, for the introduction, and thank you all for being here to support such an important cause. My name is Anna Piper. I'm the Program Manager of the Franklin County Safe Communities Program at Columbus Public Health. Our program works very closely with many partners in Central Ohio who are dedicated to improving traffic safety, and one of our oldest partnerships is with Central Ohio Safe Ride. Central Ohio Safe Rides has worked to prevent drunk and impaired driving tragedies on our local roadways for over 15 years. This work has been supported and continued by Scott Neff with Fado's, Pat Byrne with Burns Pub, and Ed Goggin with the O on Lane, as well as with the City of Dublin. Their efforts and financial contributions dedicated to providing patrons with sober rides home has without question saved lives over the years. Franklin County Safe Communities convened with Central Ohio Safe Rides back in 2009 because our program believed in the goal of the group: prevent impaired drivings and entirely preventable tragedies on our roadways. While the partners involved in Central Ohio Safe Rides come from different industries and backgrounds, we all align on one shared belief: the best way to prevent impaired driving is by making a plan for a safe and sober ride home before you go out, and then stick with that plan. With that, I now have the pleasure of turning the mic over to Scott Neff, one of the founding members of Central Ohio Safe Ride and the owner of Fido's Irish Pub.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everybody for coming out today. It's great to see this many folks that are interested in doing what we think is super valuable to us. So, like you just said, 2009, we were able to get some vouchers. Ohio Health, Franklin County Safe Communities went together and got some vouchers that they gave to some of the busiest Irish pubs in the community, including Burns Pub in Grandview, Fido Irish Pub at Easton. And during that time, we gave these out. We were on the media. It was really good. It was really well received. And then we found out the next year that that was a one-time grant. So that went away. So Pat and I got together and we said, listen, this needs to be a real program. This needs to happen. We need to make it happen on St. Patrick's Day. And maybe we can do New Year's Eve. Maybe we can do something else too. So over the years, it really got bigger and bigger. We got vendor partnerships. The City of Dublin has been a fantastic sponsor. Without the City of Dublin, this program would not exist. Most of the rides are due to the City of Dublin's financial support, along with Pat and me just saying we're going to keep this thing going. So that was our initial idea, and then it just kept going, and it made sense to do. We've had a lot of bumps in the road. During COVID, it was an interesting time. It was all of a sudden you didn't want to have these big parties, and that was part of what we did. That was what Burns and Fido did, was bring the community together to do good, fun things. And we wanted people to still be able to get together. Now, it feels like that part's back. And now this new commitment to not drinking and driving again should be easier than ever. Now with Lyft partnerships, we have several codes that we're going to show you. We've got on the screens here the Dublin Lyft code. You can just scan the QR code and get that code. It's $10 off your Lyft ride to or from 10 miles from here. So that's pretty much for Dublin. And then we have another one in Grandview with Burns as the central focus. We have another one in Easton with Fido Irish Pub over there as the central focus, and another one in Campus with Owen Lane, where our other partner has a pub. We challenge you, if you're a business owner or you are another community and you have a budget, get with us. We want to expand this program. Last year we were able to do over 1,000 rides. It's pretty impressive. We're really glad that we were able to do that. And you know, for us, it feels like an honor to be part of it, but it also feels like a commitment that we need to do for our patrons. We thank you to all of you guys that put your life on the line every day so that you're keeping us safe, and we really appreciate that. With that, David Gatterdam from Community Impact with Dublin.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, for sure.
Hearing feedback. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I'm Sergeant Dave Gatterdam with the Dublin Police Department. St. Patrick's Day is one of Dublin's most celebrated traditions, with events really kicking off tomorrow with the parade and the downtown pub crawl and continuing through the holiday itself. We know many residents and visitors will be out enjoying everything our community has to offer. And we absolutely want everyone to enjoy these celebrations. But our priority at the Dublin Police Department is making sure everyone can celebrate safely. Community safety is something we take very seriously here in Dublin, and it's also a shared responsibility. Our officers work closely with residents, businesses, and community partners throughout the year to help create a safe environment where people can gather, celebrate, and enjoy our city. One of the ways we do that is by encouraging people to plan ahead. If your plans include celebrating with alcohol, the most important thing you can do is make sure you have a safe way to get home. That's why we're proud to continue our long-standing partnership with Central Ohio Safe Ride and our regional safety partners. Programs like this provide a simple, responsible option for anyone who may need a ride home. Another important part of keeping our community safe is strong partnerships we have with our regional law enforcement and traffic safety agencies. Events like St. Patrick's Day bring people from across Central Ohio to celebrate in Dublin, so we work closely with our partners like the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, the Franklin County DUI Task Force, and Franklin County Safe Communities to promote responsible choices and help prevent impaired driving throughout the region. When agencies work together like this, we're able to share resources, coordinate our efforts, and send a consistent message that safety is a priority for everyone. Programs like Safe Ride also reflect the community policing approach we take in Dublin. It's not just about enforcement. It's about prevention, education, and working together to make responsible choices before someone ever gets behind the wheel. Through this partnership, the City of Dublin has provided thousands of safe rides over the years, from New Year's Eve to the Super Bowl to St. Patrick's Day, the Memorial Tournament, and the Dublin Irish Festival. It's just one way we work proactively to reduce impaired driving and keep our communities safe. Our St. Patrick's Day promotion is already underway. From March 13th to March 19th, riders can use the code DUBSPD26 to receive $10 off a Lyft ride within a 10-mile radius of downtown Dublin. It's quick and easy to use the Lyft app, and it's one more way we can help people celebrate responsibly while keeping our roadways safe. We also share those codes on our website and social media accounts for major events throughout the year, so they're easy for our residents and visitors to find. At the end of the day, our message is simple. Enjoy the festivities, look out for one another, and make the choice to get home safely. Thank you, and have a safe and happy St. Patrick's Day. I will now turn it back over to Sheriff Baldwin.
Thanks, Sarge. Appreciate it. And thank you to all the speakers. That really concludes this morning's event, so I'll open it up to any questions you may have for anybody up here. Prior to that?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to add in, I know we just read the code for Dublin, which is Dub SPD 26, and then the code for Easton is Easton SPD 26. You're going to get the idea to this. And then in Grandview for the Burns pub, it's Burns, so BYRNES SPD 26. And then Campus SPD 26. So those are the codes that are for use for everybody around. I also wanted to share one quick story for you guys that made it relevant to us and really important to some of the people here. So it's now been 12 years ago that a wrong way driver killed a man. And he went on YouTube and he said, I killed a man. He has over 3 million hits on YouTube right now. The man he killed was Vince Canzani. So Vince was a regular at our pub. Vince was one of a couple non-drinking regulars at our pub. He would do work on our patio. He worked at the Tinderbox next door. And Vince was a great guy. He left our patio at Fido with no alcohol in his system and was the victim of a wrong way driver. And that wrong way driver has served his time, but his name is known, and I want everybody to know Vince's. So I thought I'd share that story. It's an important story to us, and one of the reasons we get up every day and commit time and effort to this event. Thanks.
Thanks for sharing that. And it just goes to show you that almost everybody involved in an alcohol-related accident or fatality, they don't intend to. It happens because they've had too much to drink, and that's our entire message. If you drink, have fun, don't drive. Any questions from anybody?
Do you all have any numbers from over the years that like show this spike on St. Patty's Day weekend, like how big of a spike it is in DUI arrests, or do you just simply know because a lot more people are drinking, you're going to have more of those?
Well, yeah, and we do know that on certain holidays, obviously New Year's, Super Bowl Sunday, and days like that, St. Patrick's Day, because of the crowds, because the pubs are so crowded, yeah, we know that drinking increases, which increases the risk of the accidents. The information I gave earlier just shows that that's a spike and St. Patrick's Day is what we really relied on. Almost 70 accidents in 3 years right on St. Patrick's Day is a lot, and those are just alcohol related. But we can get you the information to show those spikes, but yeah, it does. Any other questions?
If you could, say somebody's not watching this tonight, but they're going out this weekend, if you could really get into their head and they're sitting at the bar, sitting in the house, thinking about leaving and getting in their car, what would you do if you were sitting next to them?
It's just, the easiest thing is to say, buddy, maybe you shouldn't drive. You've had too much. How about use a Lyft code, get somebody to get you a ride. There's so many people you can call. You can call any police agency and say, I think I've had too much. How can I get a ride? We'll walk you through it. Our intention is really not to go arrest people on days like this. And it's the last thing we want to do. And we certainly don't want to go to an accident scene that's preventable. If you take that time, and it can be uncomfortable, it can be embarrassing to reach out to somebody and say, I think you've had a little too much. But you're doing that person a huge favor, and you might be doing a family a favor, like we just heard about. Totally innocent person driving home gets hit by somebody who just didn't intend to maybe, but they just had too much. It's just hard to get that message across to people because, as I was saying earlier, the person involved in those accidents, more than 50% of the time, they don't think they've had too much. They feel fine. They've had an evening out, they've had a couple of drinks with their friends, they've been there for a couple of hours, and they think, well, I don't really feel that bad. That's the person that usually gets involved in the accident because they're not the professional type drinker. They don't get bombed every day. It's new to them, but they think they're great. They feel good. That's when it's the most dangerous time, and that's the person that gets involved, and then they regret it for the rest of their lives. Appreciate everybody showing up, and with that, we will conclude the event. Thank you all.
Scott, I want to
Appreciate
share
it.
with you, Sergeant Adam Barton's here. He actually processed that individual and was involved in that arrest that night, if you didn't know that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.